No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Welcome back to more spooky stuff here at 305 Film Studios. This is part 2 of our top 10 original horror movies video, with the first part being about movies until 1989. This is all from the 90s onward. If you didn't see part 1, check it out. But basically, this is a list of the top 10 movies that kicked off a franchise of films, but they have to be horror, or at least the first one has to be a horror movie. With that out of the way, on to the list.
10.
At number 10, Ring or Ringu. Not to be confused with The Ring or Rings. Why is it so hard to name things these days? This is the original Japanese film Ring, which was released in North America as Ringu. Ring from 1998 offers a tense atmosphere and an interesting premise, but fails to capitalize on all these things. The deal with the tape and the phone all works on a very specific track, where the outside world doesn't really get involved in the horror facing the characters. Once you start introducing lore and establishing rules with how to defeat the evil, you lose the horror. That rule has and will always apply to horror villains and monsters. See Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, for example. So once you start digging into the lore, Ring starts to lose track of the suspense angle and becomes a depthless thriller. There are some solid performances and the tape itself is pretty good, but that's just it. Plus, the movie ends about 15 minutes after it should and has one of the lamest endings I've ever seen in a horror movie. 4 out of 10, one of the only instances where the American remake is better.
Nine.
Number 9, Insidious. The movie that kicked off the 2010s wave of pop horror. The first Insidious tries to survive off bells and whistles, but fails to deliver as a tense horror movie. As much as there are some good scares and funny moments to keep you entertained, there's a cheapness to the writing and the look of the film. The color correction and the unmotivated lighting really tank how the film looks. It feels hollow. With regards to the writing, the dialogue can feel both inhuman and sound like it's from a movie. The film has this gloss over it that keeps one from getting immersed in the experience. 4 out of 10, not a bad movie, but just lacks a lot.
What? 8.
At number 8, Cloverfield. Remember 10 Cloverfield Lane? That was pretty good. Remember the Cloverfield paradox with the Super Bowl ad? Boy, that was lame. Cloverfield continued the found footage trend of the late 2000s movies with a good old-fashioned monster movie, but with the modern twist of everyone having cameras. Only showing the monster in little instances here and there helps keep the movie going, especially when it looks kind of off at the end there. It's entertaining and keeps you interested, but never really engaged or horrified for the characters on screen, plus they feel very generic and not cinematically entertaining. The real kicker with this movie is the outstanding marketing campaign that it had, which made for an incredible theatrical experience. Watching it now though, you can see the cracks. 5 out of 10, it's an okay movie.
Go, 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 go!
6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding.
Same.
7! 7!
Number 7, The Blair Witch Project. Much like Cloverfield, another movie that is propped up by the supreme marketing campaign around it. The Blair Witch Project was a product of early internet marketing and a viral campaign centered around whether this was real or not. Its success and quality are kind of attached to that phenomenon that happened upon its release. Detached from that, it loses a certain flair. The mood and atmosphere are good, there's some good scary moments here and there. The acting is up and down though, except for the booger scene, which is famous but just a little funny. It's one of those movies that everyone should check out, but temper your expectations. It's a standard found footage horror movie that tries a bit too many things at once. 6 out of 10, pretty good.
Help! Please help us!
6.
At number 6, The Conjuring. James Wan can't be stopped on his quest to make boatloads of money making movies about suburbanites in haunted homes. The Conjuring is basically the upgraded version of Insidious, complete with a software update of Patrick Wilson. Wilson and Vera Farmiga provide solid performances that help keep you engaged with the movie. It's also nice to see Ron Livingston from Office Space as the dad here. If only he filed those damn TPS reports, none of this would be happening. Aside from the performances, there are some nice moments here and there. The ending feels like someone wanted an action movie version of The Exorcist, which turned out pretty good. Honestly, it lacks the scares needed for this kind of horror movie. Much like Insidious, there's also a lot of bells and whistles with a CGI camera and some of the scares that don't really work. 6 out of 10, entertaining stuff. Before we get to number 5, please be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this.
5.
5.
5.
Well, it's not in Paris. 5.
Number 5, I Know What You Did Last Summer. They somehow made 2 other movies. I hope they make a 4th called Seriously, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Just saying. I Know What You Did Last Summer is one of the best horror movies to watch with friends. It's such a blast with its combination of on-the-nose dialogue and fun moments. It also manages to pull off some serious moments with Jennifer Love Hewitt showcasing some of the best acting she's ever done. It's also nice to see future husband and wife Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar in this. Did you know Freddie was a producer for WWE for a bit? I'll always remember when he got beat up by Randy Orton that one time. Anyways, some could call it a ripoff of Scream, but it's just a blast. While it may not be a true quote-unquote horror movie, and it can fall into parody at times, sometimes movies are fun. Sometimes you just want to watch a fun thriller with over-the-top characters and funny dialogue. 6 out of 10, I'm glad I warmed up to this on rewatch.
4.
4.
4. 4.
At number 4, Scream. Speaking of movies in on the joke, here's another one. Scream works as the ultimate crowd pleaser horror movie, and it really explains how it has resonated with audiences across a couple generations now. I was sour on this one at first, given how Scary Movie is so baked into my head. Plus, it's not that visually striking or inventive. The inventiveness really comes from the writing and the story structure. However, on rewatch, one can get invested very quickly when you don't think about the parody. Scream delivers in being a fun joyride that has a bunch of in-jokes and thrilling sequences that'll keep you invested. It's just so unfortunate how the ending drags this movie to a screeching halt and practically ends 3 different times. 6 out of 10, still good though.
I'm going to count to 3.
3.
3.
3.
3.
Number 3, Paranormal Activity. Jesus Christ, they made 7 of these? The original Paranormal Activity takes what the Blair Witch Project started and cranks up the suspense even more. This is probably the best use of $220,000 ever spent on a movie. Yep, $220,000, 15 for the production and $215 for post. What was the box office, you ask? $194 million. Insane. Solid performances and some good creepy moments. Damn good ending. Just a really solid movie. Does it really reach for something truly exceptional and great? Not really. Still, it's a good movie. 7 out of 10.
Oh my god! Will you get up?
Two.
Two.
2.
2.
At number 2, Saw. Finally saw it before making the list, and I can see why there's so much hype for this franchise. Is there enough hype to facilitate 10 movies? Probably not. The first Saw movie is the best James Wan movie he ever made, and blows past the perceived label of quote-unquote torture porn. It is a truly gripping and intense horror thriller that only gets handicapped by a few things. The rapid editing gets annoying and dated very quickly, the pacing feels just a bit off, plus the ending is a big dog turd. I don't care. Movies are best when there's cinematic satisfaction, and that was a load of bullshit with that ending. Outside of that, really good. Saw works as a dark comedy in ways, especially from the performances of Lee Wannell and Cary Elwes. That one scene with the wife and daughter is some of the most tense stuff I've seen out of any of these movies. 7 out of 10, apparently the series gets crazier from here, but I'm fine with sticking to just this one for now. Before we get to number 1, here are the honorable mentions. We got The Grudge and The Purge. Haven't seen either of them, moving on.
Alright, ready? 1.
1.
1.
Number 1, From Dusk Till Dawn. Hell yeah, let's go, baby! From Dusk Till Dawn is a classic here at 305 Film Studios. From the performances to the twists to the comedy, you got it all here. Sure, it gets a little too talky at times, it really bears the mark of a Tarantino script to the point of self-parody. Also, the last 20 minutes are very sloppily paced, to the point that you almost want to fast forward to the end. However, the first 2 acts are so supreme that they carry the movie. George Clooney absolutely delivers as Seth. Quentin Tarantino delivers the performance of his life as Richie. Salma Hayek's introduction is legendary. Nice to see Tarantino write himself into licking feet, and blowing up vampires will always be fun. What's striking is how gritty and focused the movie is prior to getting to the bar. It really works on a variety of levels. 7 out of 10, not the greatest thing in the world, but a hell of a good time.
Welcome to slavery.
No thanks. I already had a wife.
So that'll do it for this video and for us for the month of October. A lot of horror movies, some good and a lot of bad ones. It seems like the earlier movies from the 60s to the 80s had a much wider range of quality. You got movies like Friday the 13th and Phantasm that spawned a bunch of sequels, while classics like The Exorcist and Halloween also spawned whole franchises. At the same time, these more modern horror movies from the 90s onward seem to all be crowd pleasers, or at least attempt to be. This is to be expected given how the business model for movies has changed. There's less experimentation with these types of movies. Sure, you will always have classic horror movies regardless of the time. However, the classics of the modern era like Hereditary, Barbarian, Midsommar are all one-offs or movies that very purposely cut off and stay as their own works. It would be tough to make Skinamarink 2, but you can go ahead and make all the Halloween sequels you want. One thing is for certain, the horror genre has a staying power unlike any other, and still gets people to watch even after all these years. Thanks for watching, please be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. We very much appreciate your support. Comment below if you got any ideas for us. Thanks again and have a great day.